Hey, everybody. This is Breaking the Cage for February 18th through the 24th as we're coming up to that full moon in Virgo. And I'm laughing just because I'm like, it's a powerful energy. And right as I came in right now to do the video, I was given another instruction about this week. But before I get into all of that, I mean, I was basically reminded to go back and remind everybody we've been having major, this last 2 weeks, especially, um, solar flares and the Schumann resonance spiking over and over again. Sorry, my little camera is moving because my cat just sat down and knocked into it. Um, and basically, what I'm trying to get at is this: I'm being reminded not just that you keep hearing about DNA upgrades and everything that's going on with the solar flares and the Schumann resonance. But remember, this is also a conversation that they're having. Technically, it's like the sun is having a conversation, sending its energies with those solar flares to the earth, and the earth is kind of having its response. And we're kind of like in the tube being shuffled about as the conversation is taking place. Um, the energies of us from inside of us as our DNA is upgrading and shifting, as well as we're coming into more X class solar flares and M class. That's also bringing pieces of EMF or radiation in. But what Spirit is reminding me is kind of like is if you were in a tube or think of boiling water. I mean, the boiling water moves about, and it's our energies that are being pushed around as the earth and the sun are having this conversation as that upgrade is taking place, helping to make the Schumann resonance itself rise in general. Remember, again, along with that is you've heard so many different sayings of, this is the age of Aquarius, and you got to remember for however long an age of any sign is, that's a hell of a long time. It's not like it switches into that new sign and is, oh, we're in the age of Aquarius. Duh, everything is perfect. No, that's what you've been seeing pretty much since 2018 is the shift. And we're still in that shift. And the reason I'm putting it that way is because you're feeling that energy or seeing that energy of erraticness, like the bubbling of water while it's boiling. You don't really know where that bubble is going to go next. It's just moving around. And that's what is going on inside of us as we are purging some of the lowest levels of the energies that are still left. And it's important to see it that way because it's not even that it's about negativity or positivity. It's just about lower levels of denial and not even acknowledging the existence of it. I speak of us all the time and how it's no longer suffice for us to just be working with our upper seven chakras. And I say that now still because you still have Pholos, Ceres, Venus, Mars, Mercury, Cattyclaw, the Sun, Pluto, Saturn, Nessus, Neptune are all still in those lower chakras of consciencelessness. And this is, our areas of burying it, putting it in the skeletons in the closet. We don't want to, we have trouble even acknowledging where we're in those lower pieces of ego, where the hive mind, the program has trained us to be the way where we have been. And these are the hardest parts of breaking that program. With that being said, when I walked in here, Spirit reminded me, in fact, they reminded me through my own energies of exactly why and how to see it as important as it is. We say all the time, all you have is now. But we also have a very bad habit for putting off something right now because it can be done later. Right down to this video right here, right now that I'm doing. I was just not complaining about the video in general, but I was saying how each week since I do this to come out on Saturday night, but I'm technically at my part-time job on Saturday night. So I schedule it and record it in advance. And I keep trying to tell myself every Friday night, do the video, just make the video. Because on Saturday morning, you're going to want to sleep in and have your normal time. But I'm like, I'll catch a little nap and I'll come back and I'll do it. And what you're putting off now for a little later, it never fails. You're constantly pushing harder to create time that is not there, to create extra time by pushing it off. All you have is now. And when you're trying to create something additional time by smushing more into the time that you already don't have because it hasn't come yet, you're putting more on your plate. And I'm saying that because I was even just complaining. I was like, oh, I wish I would have done the video last night because I just want to go back to bed. But that's exactly what they're getting at. Remember, always, 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 all you have is right now. The future is something that has not happened. And you don't know what it necessarily will be. It is not the now. And the past is not the now. Literally, all you have is to experience the moment that you have at the moment. And how exciting is that for you at the moment? See, that's speaking of a problem of healing within myself, of me working on making sure I'm excited about doing the videos and bringing this energy to you instead of trying to create time that's not there. I'm sharing that with you because I want you to see it's something as simple as that. But Spirit says also as we approach this week, and I've never had them give it to me in this way before. It was strange, but it makes perfect sense, but it was still strange. Is they're saying as you go through this week and as we approach this full moon in Virgo, right there's your key, making it make sense. They were saying address the week and what you prioritize and what's important according to if you were going to court. According to how you value yourself, how you are being valued by others, how you value your goals in the form of if you were the one who had to make the ruling decision about your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, and exactly how is that going to come into fruition. If you were the judge and you had to literally put everything out on the table and take a good look at everything, well, how would you rule? How would you rule the direction of what you are manifesting, how it is going to unfold? Remember, that has a lot to do with value, but maybe not in the way you're seeing it, such as a lot of this week has to do with self identity, our free will choices within our belief systems, our personal identity versus our ego intent. And what I mean by that is just how self motivated are you? Just how action oriented are you? And self assertive. Because a lot of these energies are coming from the consciousness versus the unconsciousness being brought into balance and showing you exactly where you value deep down. I mean, the efforts you're putting into what you're wanting to create, see, and bring into life, breathe into life, into your new direction. Just how much value have you yourself put into it versus how much are others, your peers, your groups, your committees, are you seeing if they're valuing you or manipulating the situation as well? How self oriented, how self assertive, how self motivated really have you put your effort and your energies into this before you make the ruling decision, as if you were at court right when we hit that full moon? And remember, that full moon is taking place in Virgo, which is, sorry to say it, but Virgo can be very detail oriented and anal freaking retentive, and is looking at that 12th house where the sun is, where Nessus is, and Saturn is. Rules, walls, boundaries, resistance, healing, growth, or continuing the same pattern. Are you ending a cycle? Are you truly ending the cycle and beginning again or beginning new? And this is what I mean by where Spirit was saying, take it like you were the king or queen of your kingdom. And if you were having to make a ruling decision about truthfully how much effort and energy and where are you placing it correctly and incorrectly, stepping into those value situations and balance versus really what you're creating and bringing out to the world. Really take a good look at this as we go through this week. Not to mention, Spirit is doubling down on paying attention to the dragons just came in and was like, remember, you're the damn treasure. So double down on you. Double down on your belief system. Evaluate that belief system. Exactly. Is the belief system serving you well, or is there an issue within that belief system that's still serving the negatives and you need to explore that more? But give yourself a time and love and respect as you do that, because like I said, we are getting hit hard, very hard, with the shaking up of that energy from all of these solar flares and the Schumann resonance having that conversation, and you're in the vibration of the two kind of being batted back and forth as you're upgrading. But watch Taurus energy this week. Taurus energy, no matter where it is in your chart on the universal scale, it's the second house. And that is the possessions that make you feel comfortable. It is also the manifestation house. It is also the money house. But it is also dealing with vibrational energy in the way of like meets like energy. You can't attract what you're not. And self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, feeling liberated, feeling naive or taken advantage of, being in the power and the possession of yourself, your mind. But Taurus is also very much wanting the beautiful things in life, but is willing to work hard for it. Are you? But at the same time, Taurus is the bull, which is all about abundance, but at the same time, it is all about bullheadedness. Like I said, your belief systems. Taurus energy right now has Jupiter, and everything is connecting with Jupiter this week. talking with it in one form or another, bringing in that higher knowledge of abundance. And are you accepting it within yourself for self-value, self-esteem, bringing that into your manifestation, into the possession and the power of you? Or are you somewhere in that naive energy? And then Uranus is trying to push it out into that, understand who you are, but don't be backed into a corner and then try to attack in power, because that's not truly power. So it's asking us, really, like I said, that makes sense when we start looking at it this way, considering the way that Taurus energy is communicating with everybody this week as we come into a Virgo full moon in directly opposite of that Sun, Saturn, and Nessus, which is the curse, starting all over again. The curse of where we can't seem to heal. We keep making the same issues over and over again. So this is really about opening our eyes. All you have is now. Don't put off for tomorrow what could have been done now, because it's just going to be more shit on your plate. Define and decide how important it is to your now on excitement, and if you really want this. Now, as I get into the blueprint itself, you have still pretty much the same blueprint as last week. We still have Chiron on the lateral node. North node is still on the nerve connections in the brain, which is your Aries. It's your third eye and your crown chakra. It is still speaking to Jupiter on the jugular and Uranus on the occipital lobe, which is speaking about your zeal point. It's also speaking into past life chakras. It's speaking into Saturn energy, because it is still crossing that fixed star energy ruled by Saturn energy. So this is about making sure that we're not necessarily tearing down rules, walls, and boundaries, but restructuring them so that they fit where we are now. That doesn't mean you've got to destroy a full wall. It just means kind of shift it and make it apply to where we are now. Because as we grow, we grow. It's that simple. But it's that conversation that is happening with that Uranus, your independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, and the ability of standing forward in that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem for manifestation, for power and position of your own possession of you, for being in control of your brain, not being caught in hive mind or sheep, so to speak. Are we breathing it and speaking it into reality? What are we sending through our chakras? You still have Vista, which is still dealing with the arms, still coming into that heart chakra. Like I've been saying, still dealing with the mixed stars that are dealing with Venus, Mars, Mercury, and Jupiter, which is talking about our communication, our balance, our comfortability, our uncomfortability, sensitivity with the knowledge of who and what we are, your soul. You are everlasting connected, but where is your heart, pulled down with anxiety? And what is that doing to you, and why? And why is that making it so constrictive? And you're feeling some of this with some of that erratic and irritability energy for some people who have that energy coming in from these solar flares, as well as from the Shaman residences in this conversation. This is us getting rid of some of these lower vibrations. As we come into Virgo, you still are dealing with the liver, which is the liver, the abdominal. The Libra is still the south node, which is dealing with the kidneys and the adrenal. We're talking about your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your relationships with yourself and others, and how strong is the foundation here. This is why I said rules, walls, boundaries. Saturn has a lot going on in these, on making sure the structure of the foundation is strong for what we're building. Can't put this stuff off for later. We're doing it now. This is a big part of the demolition for rebuilding, or raven energy, so to speak. And like I said, you have from the knees, the ankles, the calves, the feet, you still have that Pholos, Ceres, Venus, Mercury, Mars, Cattyclaw, Sun, Pluto, Saturn, Nessus, Neptune, all speaking to you about where you haven't completely brought healing in from some of your truest, lowest levels of ego, malice, of torture, of hatred, where we're holding on. I've said it a million times, where you're holding on deep down to things you don't even want to hold on to. I call it vampire syndrome a lot. Or where you've heard me say a million times, I really don't want this thing here anymore. I know that it doesn't serve me, but please take it from my cold, dead hands, because it's just too much for me to open up and release and surrender and let it go. You're talking about these kind of energies: malice, hatred, destructiveness, torture, resentment, our own inner blindness, where we have literally our consciencelessness. I don't feel bad about what I just did, knowing that it wasn't the most becoming thing of you, knowing that it actually lowered some of your vibrations. This is areas within us that we're learning to overcome. How do you think you're ever going to shed this density, this heavy, fatty density of negativity that sticks in our cells, that keeps us from becoming lighter bodies, truly? This is part of where it all sticks and hides, especially in that lower part of the body, from the hips down. We are talking about, dog eat dog world. It's me first to prevail. I have to do what I have to do for me, and fuck you. This is some of those bad areas that we've been taught. Instinctive willfulness. It's me or nobody, and resentment, inadequacy, inferiority, helplessness, jealousy, where we're afraid, because that's what the energy is coming down to. Different levels hidden with different words of fear of I can't get there. That's what that ball's all up into different forms of energy. And we're trying to shed that, basically, as we're moving forward. And as we're coming into the full moon in Virgo at the end of the week, be your true own king or queen of your kingdom, and truly see how self-assertive you are to your own dreams, your own goals, your own memberships, your own committees. How much do you value what you truly are wanting? How assertive and action oriented are you into putting forth what you're trying to build, versus, is this truly your tribe? And are they truly in alignment with you and helping you? Or is there some naiveness here and manipulation and truly less value? Because you're going to get, some of you are going to just see the value system, and some of you are going to have it blown up in your face, where you're shown exactly who don't value you. But everything is here to help us move forward. It's just remembering energy is nothing more than teaching us something about where we're growing through. Now, the sun is also entering Pisces this week. It's not just that full moon. So this is, like I said, putting it this way because Pisces is one of the most mystical and magical energies. It's great at creating energy, but it also can be very naive. Like I said a million times, this is also the energy where you take home the stray dog, but the stray dog happened to be the person that would rob you blind. And where are we looking in this energy of mischief, of strange growth, of the magic and how it truly unfolds? As we go through the week itself, you have the sun, not the sun, the moon is going to be having, we have very few actual just strong energies that are staying firm all week. What you really have, and they're positive. I mean, there are some challenging ones. There's positive ones, but what you really have going this week is that moon as it's moving, as it moves into Cancer. That's your inner emotional security and security of the home. This home, not just this, not just three-dimensional, but what you truly feel security within, and making you question it as it speaks to the North Node, Chiron, and the South Node. And this is speaking, for one, about your daily routines, your daily routines, opportunities within the day. Are you taking them? See, that was them. That's, you've probably never heard me say it that way. Are you taking the opportunities that are given to you? Or are you staying in your normal daily mundane tasks? Because that's what you normally hear me say. Staying within your daily routines, your mundane tasks, a vibrational energy diet. And are you taking the opportunities that are showing themselves? And who is this person? Your character about these situations, because this is coming into the relationships you have with yourself and with others, along with your inner emotional security. Are you not just defending yourself, but valuing yourself? And how is that going to make you feel about things? Plus, that is speaking directly with Neptune, which is then speaking directly with Pluto. So this is saying, the magic is here for the change if you're willing to step into that light. But there's also that question of, but comfortability, what I already know is just comfortable. Then you've got the moon, which is, oh, I'm going the wrong way. Then you have the moon as it moves into Leo, which is going directly into that drama energy. This is the 21st. Going directly into the drama energy, starting to question your inner balance of your yin and yang, your groups, your memberships, your committees, your outer world value system, action oriented energy. What are you breathing into life? How much actual energy are you putting into it? And are you being valued by others as well? Plus, it's speaking to Pluto still, right here on the edge, which is, are you willing to see the new you? To step into that new you, to breathe the fire into the new you. But there's going to be a little bit of drama there. It's still comfortable with not necessarily doing that. Then you have it as it moves further into Leo. You have it still having that issue with Venus and Mars, but now it's also having an issue with Jupiter and Uranus. Your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, standing in the power of you, being in your own authority, or being naive and taken advantage of. It's really speaking to, where is it going? Then as it moves out, it's starting to have that conversation with the sun as it's entering Pisces. And then we're coming closer into that energy of the full moon, as it is directly speaking with the sun, Saturn, and Nessus. And what are we closing of a cycle? That's your key. Is the cycle closing for healing, for, I just heard redemption for some of you, for moving forward. As you look into the rest of the week and its energies that remain the same, you have Lilith and Juno, which is in the 6th house, speaking wonderfully with Uranus and Jupiter. That is your opportunity in your daily routines to spend something new, to come into that self-worth, to come into that self-righteousness, to come into that character and believe in that manifestation and make something, breathe it into life by claiming the vibration of it. I don't even know what I wrote there. But, and then you have Jupiter and Saturn, which are getting along great too, which is Jupiter in that 12th, in that 2nd house, again, Taurus energy, abundantly bringing in energy this week. What are we doing with the abundance when we get it? Are we doing anything with it? Are we just sitting on it hoping? No, the time is now. And speaking to the Saturn, redirecting the healing energy for our own self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, for the world around us, by first addressing who we are and where we're taking the change. Then you have Neptune and Pluto, which are having sextiles again, breathing the magic into the change. Aquarius is all about bringing the new, better life forward, but you've got to actually connect with your part of that. Not just going to watch it happen for everybody else or the world around you. You have to step into that. Then we have the challenges this week, which is that Jupiter energy is not getting along with Mars or Venus all week. That abundance of that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, standing in the manifestation of your power, of possession of yourself, of liberation, and feeling it, not through, bull in a china shop. I'm going to force it, but I feel it. I don't have to fight with you. I know who and what I am. I know where my character is taking me. I know where my light body is leading me to. I know where my higher self is leading me to. Fighting with that Venus and Mars in that 11th house. Yin yang about your value in the outer world. Not everybody's going to value you. Not everybody's going to be on that same journey. But you're also going to be shown those that do. And don't lose hope and belief in yourself if something comes back not agreeing or showing you what you had hoped. You have Uranus and Mercury, which aren't exactly getting along either. That's the communication. It may not come out right. It may have some word vomit. It may hurt your feelings. The outer community, the goals, the dreams, the people that you had hoped had helped you climb that ladder and achieve that goal may not necessarily, that communication may not necessarily be giving you what you had hoped, but it may be telling you the truth. You have Lilith and Juno again in that 6th house are not getting along with Saturn. That's your daily activities, your daily opportunities to make the changes, to redirect. Are you making the redirections? And then you have the North Node, Chiron, and the South Node. North Node and Chiron, North Node and South Node are always in opposition. But right now you have Chiron with it, which is deeply speaking to, are you seeing you? Are you truly identifying with your consciousness and your unconsciousness on the true big picture of the character of who you are? This is why I said, Spirit said in the beginning of the thing, you only have now. But more importantly, while you only have now, during this week, if at the end of the week, if you was the judge and you truly was looking at everything from all perspectives, what would your ruling be? You're taking yourself to court this week, honey. Are you going to be found valuable? Or are you showing where your assets aren't really up to par? And we just need to tweak them. That's all. I love you guys. Bye.